Good evening, everyone. Welcome to NTD Tonight. I'm David Zhang. Here is a preview of some of today's top stories. Homeless gone from downtown San Francisco. Residents weigh in as California's governor admits the city cleaned up specifically for APEC. Arson is potentially behind the interstate fire in Los Angeles. Local officials share the evidence and the renovation plans. Homeless remains a concern in Los Angeles. More people are living in cars as an alternative to tents on the streets. We continue to follow the events surrounding the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit, or APEC, in San Francisco. The city's downtown is looking much cleaner and secure. The results are what some residents have been pushing leaders to make happen for some time. NTD's Jason Blair brings us more.
Most of APEC's events are happening downtown San Francisco in the Soma neighborhood, one of the city's hotspots for homelessness and drug use. A lot of residents and visitors have noticed that much of it has been cleared out.
The city has shown the people that we can actually have clean streets, that we can actually make progress.
Ortega is actively involved locally and has been urging the San Francisco Board of Supervisors to make changes.
And supervisors, the day you all support treatment instead of drug dens is when we can properly address mental illness, especially when it comes to drug addiction.
Ortega is also glad to see more people coming into the city.
We need people to come in San Francisco. We lost so many people because of the expensiveness, because of the homeless population, because of the crime. So it's good to have at least more foot traffic in the city to show off, some good spaces, even though it's only a limited amount.
California Governor Gavin Newsom commented on the changes in San Francisco with APEC in town.
Anytime you put on an event, by definition, you have people over your house, you're going to clean up the house.
Newsom also said that he thinks San Francisco and the state as a whole has been making positive progress with new task forces and multi-departmental cooperation.
All of these are component parts of addressing the issues that I hear more often than any other issues, and it's just quality of life and the need to partner with new vigor and intentionality. And I just think we're at a different place now than we've ever been.
San Francisco resident J.J. Smith, who often helps homeless people and individuals struggling with addiction, said that many of the people on the streets downtown have spread out into other areas. He told NTD he's waiting to see what happens after APEC, saying, quote, "Business tenants and residents have been complaining for a long time, but they refuse to do anything. Now they want to do something because of APEC, but after APEC is gone, what are they going to do?" Tuesday is when many heads of state are expected to arrive for APEC, including Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and President Biden. The trade summit runs until Friday. Reporting in San Francisco, Jason Blair, NTD News.
And here's a recap of some other national headlines from today.
Thousands gathered in Washington, D.C. today in a rally denouncing a rise in anti-Semitism and supporting the release of hostages. The event is organized by the Jewish Federation of North America and the Conference of Presidents of Major American Jewish Organizations. Leading lawmakers joined the rally and spoke.
Let me be very clear. The United States stands unequivocally with our neighbor, our friend, our ally, Israel.
The event aims to provide a sense of community and unity after an increase in anti-Semitic incidents following the Hamas attack on Israel. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is warning that Hamas doesn't just pose a threat to Middle East. He told Fox News' Sean Hannity that the terror group is also a danger to Europe and the U.S.
If we don't win now, then Europe is next and you're next. And we have to win. We have to win. There is no substitute for total victory.
Netanyahu framed the war with Hamas as a battle between civilization and barbarism. He said Israel has to win for their own sake and for the people of Gaza. He said Hamas has brought them bloodshed, poverty, and misery. The Israeli leader also warned the world of other dangerous actors, including Hezbollah and Houthi rebels in Yemen. Former President Trump is pushing back against rumors about what they do in a second term. Reports say that he'd crack down on illegal immigration, take on political enemies, and more. Top Trump campaign advisors are responding, writing these reports about personnel and policies that are specific to a second Trump administration are purely speculative and theoretical. This comes after the Washington Post and New York Times published Trump's alleged plans for a possible second term, such as cracking down on illegal immigration, installing lawyers who support his agenda, and using the government to go after political enemies. The last point is something Trump and his supporters have been accusing Democrats of doing, using the government and the justice system to go after him.
For more details of these stories, please visit ntd.com. Even though Interstate 10 is closed right now, there is a silver lining. It may reopen sooner than expected. NTD's Christina Corona has more on the update from Los Angeles.
We're here in downtown Los Angeles, where it's day 4 of the 10 freeway being shut down due to the massive fire that erupted early Saturday morning. Governor Gavin Newsom also provided an estimated reopening timeline. Governor Gavin Newsom announced at Tuesday's press conference that the I-10 will no longer need to be demolished or replaced.
Again, 100 columns have been damaged, 9 or 10 severely, but that shoring work will continue 24/7. And it will allow us to reopen for traffic the I-10 in a matter of weeks. The estimate currently is 3 to 5 weeks.
The freeway stretch channels more than 300,000 drivers each day, and the closure now causes a major traffic problem for commuters and local residents. However, Newsom believes the pallet fire destroying 80,000 square feet was set intentionally.
There was malice intent that this fire occurred within the fence line of the facility you see behind me, that it was arson, and that it was done and set intentionally.
But there was no immediate information on a possible arson suspect or suspects, and the cause of the fire is still under investigation.
And that's an investigation that can be aided by the people of the region, not just those that may have been witnesses nearby. We have some preliminary tips as it relates to the prospects of determining precisely whom this individual or individuals may be. But we encourage the public more broadly to call a confidential line, 1-800-468-4408.
No injuries were reported, but at least 16 homeless people living there were taken to shelters. Affected commuters are advised to consider using public transportation, working remotely, or finding alternative traffic routes. The freeway has been shut down in both directions since Saturday, with crews putting in continuous effort to expedite repairs. For those curious about the construction progress, Newsom encouraged people to visit fixthe10.ca.gov to track the progress of the ongoing work. Newsom announced cameras are scheduled to be installed by Friday that will feature 3 to 4 camera angles offering a 24/7 view of the operation until it's finished. Christina Corona, NTD News, Los Angeles.
Also in Los Angeles, tens of thousands of people living in their vehicles as an alternative to sleeping rough on the streets. The city is trying to clamp down on this.
37-year-old Colleen McGee moved into an RV with her boyfriend, Alexander Spector, and their dog Mimo 2 years ago. Like thousands of other unhoused people in Los Angeles, they feel living in a vehicle is safer than sleeping in a tent or on the street.
I became homeless because I couldn't afford my rent, and I ended up living in tents or bushes or whatever. Then I got into an RV. And that's more like a home kind of thing. At least there was shelter.
Through circumstances of my own, I was on the streets for a while, and living on the streets is awful. And so over time, you make little moves and you talk to people, and opportunities arise, and sometimes you have the opportunity to move into one of these.
Their mobile home is one of several hundred parked on Burbank's Forest Lawn Drive across from Warner Bros. Studios. According to the Public Policy Institute of California, nearly a third of Californians are living in or near poverty, and Los Angeles County's poverty is the highest in the state. Los Angeles has some of the highest housing costs in the country, with its stock of affordable housing unable to meet demand. Los Angeles City Councilwoman Tracy Park has criticized the thousands of parked vehicles that have disgruntled neighbors.
The scale of the problem is just immense. All of our major corridors are choked with RVs and vans that have been parked in many cases for months or years.
Park introduced a motion to regulate the sale and leasing of RVs and vans that are used for housing. The Los Angeles City Council unanimously approved it on August 30th. Now, Los Angeles County is following her lead, considering similar restrictions.
We'll take a short break now, everybody, but here's a look at what we have for you when we come back. Paul Pelosi testifies in court. Why did he say he tried to stay calm amid the possible danger? We'll have more on the ongoing trial. The Las Vegas Strip becoming a racetrack for the Formula One Grand Prix. Iconic views are blocked by construction. Giving opportunities to people with disabilities, what one company in Southern California is doing. We'll hear more on how people are trained in a success story. Those stories and more coming up on NTD Tonight. Welcome back to NTD Tonight. I'm your host, David Zhang. Paul Pelosi delivers his testimony in court. His attacker allegedly planned to detain Nancy Pelosi and ended up hitting her husband with a hammer. NTD's David Lam has more.
Paul Pelosi, husband of former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, took to the stand for the first time on November 13th in his hammer attack trial. Mr. Pelosi said he was shocked to see a man standing in his bedroom on the night of the attack. The 83-year-old said, "Looking at him and looking at the hammer and the ties, I recognized that I was in serious danger, so I tried to stay as calm as possible." According to prosecutors, suspect David DePape broke into Pelosi's San Francisco home in the early hours of October 2022 and looking for Nancy Pelosi. DePape had claimed that people's individual liberties were being threatened. FBI documents indicate that DePape said Speaker Pelosi was the, quote, leader of the pack. Pelosi said he managed to call the police in the restroom and then convinced the suspect to go downstairs, believing it'd be easier for cops to arrest him. But DePape's former girlfriend tells the APEC Times,
his story really falls apart because it's very hard to understand how he managed to sleep through all that noise. It was, supposedly breaking in and stuff, how he was holding a drink at the end while he was supposedly being attacked and he's still holding a drink.
DePape pleaded not guilty to attempted murder, kidnapping, assault on an official's family member, and other felonies. Closing arguments in the trial are scheduled for Wednesday. DePape could face life in prison if found guilty. David Lam, NTD News, California.
Las Vegas' iconic strip nearly unrecognizable. Construction for this week's long-anticipated Grand Prix car race now blocks off iconic views. Let's take a look.
On streets usually choked with taxis, buses, rental cars, and pedestrians posing for selfies, the Las Vegas Strip has transformed into a site for Formula One racers this week. When the inaugural Formula One Las Vegas Grand Prix was announced a year ago, tickets and hotel packages sold for tens of thousands of dollars per guest. Organizers have a 10-year permit for the race.
Las Vegas is going to be known for these big things and be expected to live up to the hype. And that's part of the Las Vegas ethos, if you will, for the Strip, having to live up to the hype.
Roadwork began in April, and race organizers asked Clark County to contribute half of the estimated $80 million cost of street repaving. Jim Gibson, chairman of the Clark County Commission, said last week that talks will continue after the race. Officials acknowledged that parking spots will be scarce for race fans and hotel workers alike.
That you have extremely wealthy people who are going to be attending, and you have them coming here expecting a very high level of service, which Las Vegas is known for. And the people providing the service are facing some challenges of their own, because they're not going to be able to get to work so easily. They may have to work longer.
Despite the hype, tourists who are visiting to see the strip's scenery and not the race are disappointed to see construction blocking the views.
I know a lot of people love the fountains. It's a pretty cool show. It's something I like to watch every time I come to Vegas. So it's definitely a bummer, I'd say.
Yeah, I walked this morning and a lot has changed. It's all barricades and things blocked and construction and traffic. One of the big things was to see the Bellagio fountain, and right now you can't even view it from the Strip.
The Las Vegas Grand Prix is expected to draw more than 100,000 fans each of 3 nights from November 16th to 18th. It features elite drivers racing open cockpit vehicles on a 3.8-mile course at speeds sometimes topping 200 miles per hour. Racing starts at 10 p.m. local time. Officials estimate the event will draw more than $1 billion to the local economy.
Induction ceremony for the 2023 Hockey Hall of Fame. NTD's Tyler Castile has the update.
Here are some of the players inducted into the 2023 NHL Hall of Fame. Players included Henrik Lundqvist, Mike Vernon, Pierre Turgeon, Tom Barrasso, Caroline Ouellette, Pierce Lacroix, and Ken Hitchcock. Let's start with the most notable inductee with Henrik Lundqvist. King Henrik played 15 seasons with the New York Rangers, where he racked up 459 wins. Unfortunately, he has never won a Stanley Cup, but he was still one of the most dominant goalies in his era. Mike Vernon, another goalie, won 2 Stanley Cups during his 19-year career, where he reached 385 wins between the Calgary Flames, San Jose Sharks, Detroit Red Wings, and the Florida Panthers. Tom Barrasso is also a 2-time Stanley Cup winner with 369 wins and 38 shutouts under his belt. He has also won the Vezina, Calder, and Jennings Trophy during his career. Pierre Turgeon was the only forward this year to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Like others, he has never won the Stanley Cup, but he was still a dominant player in his era, putting up 1,327 points in 19 seasons. Caroline Ouellette has won 4 Olympic gold medals, 6 World Championship gold medals, and 6 silver medals. She has the most accolades as of any other inductee this year. Ken Hitchcock is also 4th in all-time wins as a head coach during his 4-decade coaching career, and he has also won a Stanley Cup on top of that. Congratulations to this year's inductees for making it to the Hockey Hall of Fame. Tyler Castillo, NTD News.
A company in Riverside, California aims to lead by example. They're training and employing individuals with disabilities, giving them opportunities in the workforce. NTD's Stephanie Sikal has more from the CEO and a success story.
A Riverside-based company is leading initiatives to train and employ local individuals with intellectual disabilities who secured their first job through a work-study program with Phoenix Technology Incorporated. Known for global production of helmets for firefighters, the company received funding in June from the California Department of Rehabilitation to expand operations and enhance the Opportunity for All work-study program. CEO Angel Sanchez outlines the program's approach.
The program really was just started as a way to provide opportunities for those who really have faced the most significant barriers to employment. Those in the neurodiverse community, those with intellectual and developmental and even physical disabilities.
The program includes targeted hiring, a work-study program, employer guides, promoting awareness among external employers, and collaboration with legislators to fund workforce opportunity programs.
We always focus on the disability in the general community, and really what we're starting to do is focus on the ability and what people are capable of accomplishing.
The program aims to address workforce challenges, particularly in the Inland Empire, where thousands with autism are ready to work. Mark Hernandez's success showcases the capabilities of individuals with intellectual disabilities.
Helped me learn more about nonverbal communication than anything else. Before, I didn't have much good eye contact.
We'll develop people into senior executive positions, whether it's for Phoenix or for other companies. But really, there is no limitation to anyone that is labeled to have a disability.
Phoenix aims to break the glass ceiling and expand opportunities for those labeled with disabilities. Stephanie Sikal, NTD News, California.
Wrapping up the night, let's meet Teddy and Leo. They're Newfoundland dogs, big, furry, and gentle giants. And this puppy duo loves spending time at Grandma's house.
Nana Ismet loves her grandkids, but while grandkids may grow less excited to see their family with age, doggy duo Teddy and Leo are always excited to see her. Ismet's daughter, Sanela Bekovic, told the APEC Times, "Sometimes I do wonder if they're her favorites." Growing up in Bosnia and later moving to Sweden, Miss Bekovic says she often saw stray dogs wandering around and developed a soft spot for dogs. Eventually, she and her husband decided on not one, but 2 Newfoundland dogs. Miss Bekovic says the brothers love Ismet, adding that she's actually treating them like her grandchildren. They react really strong when she's coming to us. If I just say her name, they go crazy. When they get to Ismet's house, the cuddles begin. She can pet them for half an hour, and they love every minute. Leo is so big that he realized he can't jump on Ismet, so he plunks himself on his back and indulges in belly rubs. Ginormous Teddy was a 30-pound pup when he first played with Ismet. Now at 6 years old, he has grown to a whopping 165 pounds. Besides cuddling, Teddy and Leo love walks by the beach, doggy ice cream, and trips to northern Sweden.
That's all we've got for you tonight. We would like you to join us again on NTD Tonight every weekday at 9 p.m. I'm David Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.